3 reasons Arjuna could feel safe in becoming a disciple of Krishna. By Krishna's mercy. Karpanya doshopahat svabhavah. Prichhami tvam dharma sammurchetah. Yachreyah syanishchitam bruhi tanmay. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Quote, "Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me." Arjuna, Bhagavad-gita 2.7. It appears to be a problem particularly prevalent in the modern day. Let's say there is a society of learners. In order to fit into that society, a prospective student has to accept a specific teacher. They try their best to maintain the link through recorded instruction, such as in books and lectures, but the leaders of the institution maintain that in order to have any standing within the society, there has to be an openly expressed affiliation with an approved teacher. That acceptance should have a corresponding ceremony known as initiation. The problem is that those who fall in line, who succumb to the pressure, who end up choosing a guru from an arbitrary list of candidates, get burned later on. Their guru falls down later on. Or perhaps that spiritual guide was fallen from the very beginning. It is a difficult position to hold on to after all. Everyone is watching you. People are expecting you to lead. They hold you up to the highest standard of conduct and routine. In the life of the disciple, the dissolution of the standing of the guru has devastating consequences. All of that faith invested, all of the assurances, all of the moves reluctantly followed, all of that incoming doubt swept aside without any proper consideration. It is like the entire experience turns into a waste. The immersion into the spiritual culture, which descends in a line of teachers known as parampara, is so spoiled that doubts creep in as to the genuineness of any spiritual guide. Perhaps there is no hope. Is it even possible to meet someone who has the proper qualifications? It is with this backdrop that we can further appreciate the decision made by the bow warrior named Arjuna. He had doubts at the worst possible time. Everyone was set to begin a great war. One side was counting on Arjuna for victory. They knew that he had the skills necessary to succeed. The problem is that Arjuna was reluctant to fight. He briefly considered the great carnage about to manifest. He realized he would be a direct party to violence at a massive scale. Perhaps that was sinful. Perhaps that was the wrong way to go about things. Perhaps he had been thinking incorrectly the entire time. Arjuna submitted his reservations to a guru. There was no formal initiation process. There was no fire ceremony, and there was no new name awarded to the student. There was no acceptance into a specific society, and there was no demand from the spiritual guide to make a proper donation, dakshina. This was as raw an interaction as can be imagined. It was a student in doubt approaching someone he respected, someone he knew could provide the right answers. Arjuna could feel safe in becoming an informal disciple of Sri Krishna for several reasons. Vr. Sri Saila Chakravarti highlights these reasons in his book called The Philosophy of Sri Ramanuja, Visistadvaita. 1. Krishna is omniscient, not ignorant. If we approach a guru who is ignorant, we are doomed. This is because part of the process involves surrendering. You relinquish the fight to try to understand by yourself. You abandon reliance on evidence of the pratyaksh and anuman kinds. You neither have the time nor the brain power to properly gather direct evidence or reach conclusions through inference about the highest subject matter of all, life and death. Sri Krishna is omniscient, and so he knows what to do. Arjuna approached a guru of the highest qualification. Krishna is actually the original teacher, the Adi Guru. He instructed Lord Brahma when there was no one else around. It was through the Supreme Lord's guidance that the creation initially took place. Aham evasam evagre, nanyad yat sad asat param, paschad aham yad etach, cha, yo vashishyet so smya aham. Quote, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.933. 2. Krishna teaches truth, not falsehood. If the guru provides incorrect understandings, then the effects will trickle down to the disciple. The disciple will then make incorrect decisions, which can then negatively impact those in the path of the consequences to those decisions. In this case, if Arjuna did indeed relinquish the fight, then adharma would run rampant. The wrong decision, recommended by the teacher with the wrong information, would allow the wrong way of living to dominate society, which otherwise needs guidance and goals that are properly aligned. In other words, society needs dharma. It is what separates the human beings from the animals. Tad vidhi pranipaten, pariprashnen sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninas tattva darshinah. Quote, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 4:34. As an offering of advice in the general sense, Krishna recommends approaching someone who has seen the truth. The Sanskrit term is tattva-dashi. The interaction from there is simple and straightforward. Ask questions and serve. Do not challenge simply for the sake of winning an argument or making the teacher look bad. Make sure to offer something in return. Give a little, instead of only taking. 3. Krishna guides, not misguides. As Arjuna is confiding, Krishna is guiding. This guidance is for the interests of the recipient. The words of wisdom are for Arjuna's benefit. There is nothing that anyone can do for Krishna. As he is Atmaram, there is no reliance on Dakshina or a corresponding gift. As His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says, the most important part of the relationship between guru and disciple is that the disciple live the instruction given to them. Whether the disciple thanks the guru or not makes no difference. The guru is most pleased when they see that the student who began in darkness eventually finds their way into the light. Bhoktaram yagyatapsam, sarvalok maheshwaram, suhridam sarvabhutanam, jhatva mam shantim rachati. Quote, the sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 5:29. Since Krishna is the greatest well-wishing friend, he guides those who approach him. He is always wishing us well, since before we can remember. This stance also proves that he is the most forgiving person. At any time, we can go back to the original home, the spiritual world. We might even occasionally speculate in the wrong direction, to his amusement in the manner of Arjuna's initial proposal, but the loving relationship will never dissolve. Tamuach Hrishikesha prahasanniva bharat, senyorubhayor madhye vishidantamidam vachah. Quote, O descendant of Bharat, at that time Krishna, smiling, in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Bhagavad-gita 2:10. In closing, the relationship never to dissolve, even simple problems will solve, like when Arjuna to approach, thinking against Dharma to encroach, speculating this way and that, to Guru for explanation exact. Krishna smiling at foolishness to conceive, but safe always in that Guru to believe.